Hello everyone and welcome to the 179th episode of the Poorly Planned Podcast. My name is Benedict, you may know me better as BHL Hudson. Here we talk about movies, TV shows, a bunch of nonsense. With me as always is my friend, co-host, and a post-St. Patty's Day buddy.
Ooh,
true. I don't know, I was trying very hard to think of something. I see a bit of green in the background, a green shirt. I'm wearing green.
It is my sports top. Oh, you are?
Did
you celebrate St. Patty's Day?
Not particularly, no.
I won't lie, I did not either.
No, not really.
There was a social with the volleyball team where they were like, alright guys, come wear green and we'll go to the Foo Bar and get drunk. It was the local club. And I was like, nah.
Yeah, that sounds terrible, actually.
That sounds awful. Instead I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once at home.
Ooh. Well, I guess we'll be discussing that because it's a bit of a mini reviews day.
Ooh, is it?
A little bit, and maybe some news as well. You never know.
Ooh, okay.
But yeah, we are gonna today be talking some mini reviews, maybe some news. You know, I'll be honest, like this is a bit of a free-flowing episode because, you know, I have a bunch of mini reviews, but some of them, you know, realistically, we don't have to talk too much about. There's a bunch of news, realistically, don't have to talk too much about it. The main thing we have to talk about is The Last of Us, which I'm gonna assume you've seen the last episode.
I have seen the last episode of The Last of Us.
Oh, the last episode of Us. We've really done something here.
Something that's never been done before, I would argue.
So, there are time codes down below. I say we do... How many mini reviews do you have? Just let me feel it.
Let me think here.
Feel
I've got The Last of Us, Everything All in One. I've got like 3 or 4.
Okay, I say we go mini reviews, then we do some news, and then we end it with The Last of Us. How does that sound? Are we all on board for that?
God, all aboard the swag train, as I would like to say.
Right. Really unfortunate scenario there, where I also did the of all aboard the swag train, as if we would ever get off the swag train. Well, I will start off
as if our lives are not the constant flow of the swag train.
God, I'll start us off.
Bus City. Oh,
all right. I was gonna make a comment of how cringe this podcast has become, but then
then I saved it.
We're gonna start off with some couple of TV show mini reviews. I'm gonna just throw in here because we talked about we would only talk about TV shows once they're finished, or as you'll see, once I have finished watching them, once I'm finished with them, they can go their way. But I did for a while watch the new show Poker Face, which is Ryan Johnson's mystery miniseries. So
Ryan Johnson, who is it sounds like a fake name. I forget.
the Knives Out man and Star Wars The Last Jedi. So a bit of a mysterious boy. He loves a bit of a mystery, that man.
He's a big mysterious guy. Okay.
So he made a 10-episode little show called Poker Face that is very much, you could say, in the style of Knives Out, at least like visually. But, and also in the sense that it's like mystery stories, but it's kind of told from a different perspective and all that. Follows Natasha Lyonne, who's excellent in it. She's very good. I mainly know her from New Girl, where she is in the one episode in season 1 where they go to the wedding, and she's that girl that Schmidt doesn't want to have sex with, but ends up having sex with. But anyway, she's amazing in the show, and it's a lot of fun. It's in the Knives Out Glass Onion style, where it plays with conventions a bit, and she's like a human lie detector, so that obviously plays into a lot of the episodes. And each episode is a new, like, mystery. Like, she's traveling around the country, and she, like, every time there's like, oh, there's been a murder, but maybe the murder isn't what it seems, and all that. Very good. I did watch the first 8 episodes of 10, and I stopped just because, I'll be honest, it does get a bit repetitive, like...
Okay.
Because they've lost...
Did you say, is each episode a new kind of murder or what?
Yeah. So it's which I really like, it's like a mystery of the week kind of thing, but it all does follow the same formula. So even though it's a very kind of unique premise, like this, you know, human lie detector woman, and she's very funny and she's going on these mysteries, whatever, but then there's only so much you can kind of do with the conventions it locks itself into. So each episode, it kind of, you're like, well, okay, I can see that like the camera has lingered on this item for a little bit, so that's going to play later, and then this person's going to lie to her and she's going to realize he's lying, and then, like, I don't know, it is very good, but it does get a little bit repetitive. But I would say if you like Knives Out and Glass Onion, it's a very charming time. I would recommend.
Ooh, well, I adore charm.
And the other one that I'll just throw in here, I did watch the first episode and a half of the new season of The Mandalorian. which
I want to get on it.
I'll be honest, I was...
I'll be honest, terrible.
I was a little underwhelmed. The first episode, everyone hated that I talked to. I really liked. It's a bit of just like a fun old time. We get Apollo Creed coming back. It's a bit of a goofy thing. Baby Yoda, very cute as always. But then the second episode, I just found myself kind of uninterested. Like, I won't spoil what's happening, I guess, but like, it feels very video game side questy. Like, it's like, go to this place to get this person, but then that person's like, well, you have to go to this place to get this person. It's kind of like a series of get this thing for this person things.
Okay.
And I'm like,
I see.
All right, like...
If I wanted that, I'd be playing Skyrim, you fools, not watching The Mandalorian. Do you need to, for like context, do you need to have watched Boba Fett for this?
Maybe. I watched a like 2-minute recap video where, I mean, it's very like vital information of like how, because at the end of season 2 he leaves Baby Yoda, and then in Mandalorian or Boba Fett they get him back.
Baby Yoda's back, right?
Yeah. So, but they also at the start they kind of do a little bit of exposition where they're like, they basically just say what that 2-minute recap video was like, you disgraced whatever. Also, now to say, fucking this guy, like Pedro Pascal, Mandalorian man, he's great and whatever, and he's cool. He's also, I find it strange to root for him because he's on, the mission that he's on basically is like, because he took his helmet off, and that's against the code of his people, he has to go bathe in the waters of whatever the fuck to fix it. And I'm like, in season 2, if I'm not mistaken, didn't we establish that his group of Mandalorians are like kind of weird freak cult people who like no other Mandalorians have that rule about the helmet? Like, remember he runs into those other Mandalorians? It's like, yeah, that's just you. Like, you're fucking weird. Like,
no helmet on.
After they've set up that it's like it's a weird kind of cult thing, it's like, why should I root for him to achieve this? Like, I don't give a shit. Like, keep the helmet off. You're handsome, Pedro Pascal.
Are you rooting for him to get his dignity back, or are you rooting for a Pedro Pascal bathing scene?
I was gonna say I might be more on board with it if it does lead, in fact, to a
if it is a 10-minute sequence of him just getting soapy all over,
scrubbing every hole. I'll be honest, that might be in the cards, so I may have to get back on it. But
very good.
Story-wise, I'm not a fan.
Scrubbing every hole, as you just said.
I feel like, by the way, Pedro Pascal has gotten kind of unfortunately like sexually harassed in recent months that we're clearly not helping with here. But like, have you seen those interviews where they're like, do you know that the internet, like, everyone wants to like lick your toes or whatever? And he's like, yeah, for sure. Like, I think he's kind of starting to get weirded out by it.
But he's also embracing it. Have you not seen the one where he's like, Daddy's a state of mind?
I have. No, I think like at the start he was like, oh, this is funny, and now they're like, Pedro, the internet is saying that you should like blow my back out.
You should like.
And Pedro's just like on the red carpet, like, okay.
Yeah, so the topmost like comment for you to do, Pedro, is to suck my balls. I don't know what's up with that.
I don't know. This fan page says you should lick the side of my face and then spit on me, Pedro. I don't know. Weird internet, right?
Pedro, I don't know. Like this like my wife just suggested this. I told her it was crazy, but like if you wore stilettos and ball busted me, that would be incredible.
Pedro nods and smiles.
Pedro's like, okay. It's a state of mind.
It's gonna happen. But anyway, yeah, Mandalorian. I mean, I enjoyed the first episode. I've kind of, I don't know. I might get back to it. I found it a little mess so far, but we'll leave it.
Okay.
We'll leave it.
Okay. I will start off with a cheeky bit of Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Did you watch this in honor of the Best Picture win?
I mean, it was, I guess, kind of in honor, but also like I've been wanting to watch it for a while, and then it just kind of gave me an excuse to.
Sure.
So I sat down, and I will say, which has been happening a lot lately, which might be a problem. I was not maybe in the best condition to watch it, in that I was very, very tired and not feeling great. So I sat there and I was like, okay, let's do this. And I fell asleep through a bit of it, and I woke up and it was complete mayhem. I woke up and there was just 2 talking rocks there. I was like, what in the world is happening?
To be fair, if you stayed awake, it wouldn't make a ton more sense than it does by the time you get there. But.
That's very good to know, because I felt positively bamboozled when I woke up. I was like, goodness. But yeah, so I liked it. I thought there were some very interesting and fun moments in it. I don't see how it won 7 Oscars. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know. It got like not like Babylon level, but I did think it got a little bit up itself towards the end. But at the same time, it worked for the weird kind of crazy fantasy world or multiverse world that it was set in. I loved, is it Ke Huy Quan? Is that his name?
Ke Huy Quan, yeah, your boy. The king.
Your boy Quan. Yeah, the king. I loved him. He was great. I also don't really get how Jamie Lee Curtis won an Oscar for that role.
Yeah, that has been a big controversy, especially because she was nominated against the actress who plays the daughter, Stephanie, who I want to say.
Yeah, I thought she was really good.
Yeah, I don't think Jamie Lee Curtis was bad, but like she doesn't do like anything Oscar worthy. You know what I mean?
There's like she's there, and like she's got that like the most emotional scene is when they're like in this like alternate reality when they're like lovers and have sausage fingers. Yeah, that's like the most emotional, and that's not that emotional.
Yeah, kind of strange choice.
So very strange choice with that, but overall, pretty good movie. I enjoyed it. Again, I think if I hadn't been so tired, I would have been more receptive towards it. But overall, I did enjoy. And
you did enjoy Raccacoonie.
I forgot to say, I loved Raccacoonie. That sequence, like, I was watching it with my girlfriend, and similar to Cocaine Bear, she's like, this is so ridiculous. Because I think the Raccacoonie part gave heavy Cocaine Bear vibes in a way. And when she was watching that, she just had a similar, like, this is so, I don't want to watch this. And I was like, alarmingly invested in what happened to Raccacoonie.
Man, I don't want to say, and I hope she doesn't listen to this, she's a lovely woman, and I think she's great for you. I don't want to say you should stop watching movies with your girlfriend, but it sounds like kind of brings the vibe slightly down.
I need to just be sitting alone with a bag of popcorn and shunning her into the other room.
If you know the film is going to have some kind of ridiculous anthropomorphic animal kind of type situation, maybe be like, you know what?
I didn't know Raccacoonie was going to be there.
I was going to say,
if I'd known, I would have watched this in just complete solitude.
in solitary confinement. No, that's fair. I agree. I think I think I liked it more than you did, but I agree with, I remember at the time, my one big complaint, it does, I think, go on for too long and kind of, like, so even Raccacoonie, some of the, like, funniest jokes, it does kind of, like, revisit them too many times where you kind of, like, I don't know, it was sort of, I don't want to say it was, like, milking it, but overall, a very good film.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
And for the record, I have no beef with your girlfriend. I think you should watch all the movies together. Good for you guys.
Oh, no, she's going to listen to this, and then you'll get a very angry letter by pigeon. I can also just say, what was I going to say? Shit. Oh, no.
If you think of it, you may yell it out. I give you permission.
Okay, I might get back to you on it. I immediately thought of it, then immediately forgot, which is not a great sign for my mental health.
I was gonna say, I feel like there's some things going on here. You're like, this is a recurring pattern, but I was very tired and bad feeling and not happy in life in general. And
now I'm forgetting things.
Yeah, should we talk about something here, Freddie?
Feeling particularly depressed that one day was. So I decided to watch an extended sequence of Raccacoonie.
Speaking of cinema, kino, if you will.
Cinema. That's gross.
Every woman when approached by a film student, ew.
Get away from me.
I did watch Gangs of New York. It is a Martin Scorsese film.
Is that the one with DeCap and Lewis?
DeCap and Daniel Day-Lewis, who does... I wish I could remember any of his lines, because I feel like I could do a really good Lewis accent. He has such a good accent in it. He has such like a...
I've got a great Lewis performance that is not from this movie.
Okay.
I've abandoned my boy!
Okay. For some reason,
I abandoned my child!
That's a really good Lincoln, actually. I really respect the dedication. It's set in like the 1800s, and it's kind of self-explanatory.
It's a very good film.
You've seen it?
Sir, I wrote it.
Oh. Well,
I have seen it, yes.
I thought the first half was incredible. And I thought the building, if you haven't seen it, it's, DiCaprio, he's part of one gang, and Daniel Day-Lewis is the leader of the other gang, and Daniel Day-Lewis kills DiCaprio's dad when he's a kid, and then DiCaprio comes back years later to, enact revenge, but maybe not, but maybe who knows what's going to happen. I thought the whole first half where it's building up that tension of DiCaprio's back, Daniel Day-Lewis doesn't know who he is. He's kind of by his side, his consigliere, one could say.
One could.
All that was amazing, and I thought like all the production design was incredible, and like just Scorsese has a way of making films just very captivating, very like I don't know, engaging to watch. And then spoilers, the halfway point when kind of the jig is up and it's discovered that DeCap is who he is
in fact doing a cheeky Donnie Brasco undercover. Switching sides.
I haven't seen Donnie Brasco, but I'm assuming that was a great reference. I feel like it loses a bit of its momentum a little bit, and it was just less interesting from there. Like then it devolves into a bit of like not devolves, but it's like now it's a bit of a gang war and turf war and like back and forth and more violence and whatever and big final battle, and it's interesting. Yeah, it's like
it's a lot more tense and complex in the first kind of
but I thought I was significantly less interested in it the second half. So I still think very good movie. I do think DiCaprio and Cameron Diaz horrendous accents throughout, because
I won't lie, hot take, Cameron Diaz is really just
not a fan.
I don't know. It's like I used to be whatever about it, but lately I've just gotten kind of a stanky vibe.
Well, what else is she in?
I could not tell you,
Teacher?
but many things. What do you say?
Bad Teacher, a film that I have seen and that I am not a fan of. She is the bad teacher in it, in fact. I mean, I think she's good. Like, I think she's good in it. I just think her and DiCaprio's accents stank as hell, because they sometimes just like don't have them, and they like in his opening narration I was like, oh, DiCaprio's just like doing his normal DiCaprio voice, and then he's like, I was the son of the Liam Neeson boy, and
you used to be nice, or did you never used to be? Oh,
you killed my fucking donkey.
My donkey choked on your fat fingers, Gleason.
You're a bitch, I'm Bill the Butcher. I don't know, that was my attempt at the guy.
You're a bitch, I'm Bill the Butcher.
He starts spitting bars.
Heavy hand vibes there. Spitting bars.
Can't believe. I can't do it. I can't. In my head,
Come
I really
on, do it. No, do it.
Couple of anyway, pretty good. Not Scorsese's best, but a solid time, I would say.
Very cool. Very cool. Please, cue the intro. I did watch, and again, maybe I've just been ignorant to how they're gonna do this and how it all works, but I'm very confused, and we'll talk about it. But I did watch the newest release. Is my mustache itching my nose? It is. Sorry.
Sorry. For those who can't see, Freddy's face is being attacked by his own hair. It's a weird sight to see. I was like, are you good, bro? You're like, so I don't really I don't... What the fuck? Just clawing at your own face.
What the fuck, Rakakui? I did watch the latest release of Attack on Titan. So they've released a new thing that's in the, that's following up on where we left off. But it's an hour-long episode or movie. I don't know what they're doing. But it was an hour long, and I was like... It was great, first of all. It was very, very, like, the animation was incredible. What happened was both sad and epic, and, just, it's up to its usual, like, really high standards. But, so then after this hour, I was like, okay, cool. I watched that, like, kind of the week after it came out, so I was like, okay, so it'll come out weekly. I'm ready for the next one. And then they've obviously advertised this as, there's the final season, there's the final thing, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, okay, where's the next episode? And again, I might have misunderstood it. It might be coming out, it might have already come out. I haven't checked the last few days. But then it says it's coming out in, like, October. Like, what? What's happening here?
Is there, like, an error in translation or something, or?
I don't know, but it's like, how long is this final bit gonna be?
Well, I remember you saying these kind of things a while ago, where you were saying, like, they'd already done this, like, they'd said it was going to be the final, and then it wasn't the final, and then they seem to just be pranking you specifically, I think.
Yeah, we even joked about, if they do it one more time, I'll never watch again. Again, I'm going to watch, but I think they've done it again.
They called your bluff. They're like, we'll fucking see about that.
They called my bluff, and I'm going to watch it. I get a personalized email. Pussy. I bet you're still going to watch it in half a year's time.
They were going to release it all at the same time just to fuck with you. Like, you know what? Let's put this in October.
And it's fair, because they got me in the fucking palm of their hand. I love the show, but I don't love their release schedule. It's so strange.
Damn.
But yeah, very good. The action was great. A major again, spoil. I'm not gonna say who, but a major character maybe does meet an end that in a very cool but also sad way.
Dang.
And it is getting very close, and it's so gruesome. Like, because right now, I don't know if I've told you, the rumbling is happening. So the episode starts off with like a million like titans just crushing little children. Like, you see a very graphic image of a little kid's head just getting.
God. All right.
No, it's such a good episode. The animation is amazing. Huge fan, but I just wish I could see more.
Damn. You hear that, Attack on Titan creators?
Yeah.
Get
on that.
Get your shit together.
Please.
Well, I have 4 that I've seen before, so I'm gonna speed round them real quick. Did a little cheeky rewatch of a couple things. I don't know why, I was just in the mood for something kind of, a little bit, I don't want to say vapid, but nothing too serious. So I threw on Deadpool. It's been a while. And also,
I respect it.
Some of my film friends despise the film Deadpool. I think
Why?
They just hate Ryan Reynolds. To be fair, I think there's also a little bit of a I think they say it's like too. I think they say it's cringy and like it's like overdone. But I think they forget when Deadpool came out in 2016. It wasn't like, now it's a bit oversaturated, this kind of thing. But like, it wasn't
but it kind of
like a rude superhero film. That was a new thing back then.
It was crazy.
Also, we were 14 when it came out, and it was hilarious back then. I rewatched it. Yes, when you're 21 as opposed to 14, it's not as, hilarious and awesome, but it's still pretty good. It's still pretty damn good, I'm not gonna lie. I had a really good time with it.
It sounds like you're slowly getting influenced by your pretentious friends.
Fuck! I knew this day would come.
As a 21-year-old, I don't know if I like it that much.
Kind of cringe. But it was very fun. Also, like, real grim for a lot of it. I forgot. There's like the first half where he's getting like violently tortured to death for the whole thing.
Yeah, I remember that was your big kind of con against it. You're like,
you know what? It's a great movie, but kind of is dark and
a little spooky at that part.
Honestly, I don't feel safe.
I wouldn't even say it's a con. I was just kind of like taken aback by like, damn, like this. I was watching this when I was 14. Like, they're fucking, I don't know, yeah, like electrocuting him and drowning him and shit. I'm like, it's pretty grim, but just like a very fun movie, and just like just a good time. Well, speaking of the film lads, we did also. They're doing a bit of a Lord of the Rings marathon. I did skip out on Fellowship because I think it's Fellow Mid of the Ring, but it's all right. But I came in for the Two Towers.
It's pretty good. I enjoy it.
It's pretty good, yeah. But I came in for the Two Towers, which is objectively way better, and it was just a good time. I mean, the Battle of Helm's Deep, always a great thing.
A classic. Always a great thing.
Always a great thing. Whenever that comes up very often in daily life, always a good time.
Always a great phenomenon to experience.
I was the guy who, when Aragorn kicks the helmet and screams, I was the guy who was like, he actually broke his foot there in real life. And they all groaned.
I thought you were going to say I was the guy who Legolas threw across the bridge.
That was also... I see. What
AKA Gimli.
I see what you've done here, yes. But a good time. I also didn't remember Gimli being just the most useless sack of shit in this movie. Like, I know he's the comedic relief. He does nothing up until like the very end. He's just always falling over and like huffing and puffing and like shitting himself or whatever. And
describe Gimli in a sentence. A sack of shit that's huffing and puffing and shitting himself.
I was just like, God damn, like, why is he here? Like, he contributes
Gimli,
nothing.
You're so useless. Yeah, I mean, in fairness, I will say, if they brought just another elf along, like,
yeah, that would be so much better. They could have brought literally
anyone.
They would
way better off.
They could have brought old man Bilbo.
Is he he leads them to like his ancestors' cave, and they're all dead. Yeah. And that's all he does in this franchise.
No, he is. I would hate to say a walking L, but I still did enjoy a lot of what was going on. Also, by the way, I just remembered not hilarious, but just kind of like a weird story where one of my friends is part of this like film book society thing, and he brought us along for this like film book like social
society
debate things. Yeah. And then weirdly we went to this film book society. I don't know. I came out of nowhere. But anyway, there was like some discussion about like the film versus the book or whatever, and I just thought it was like hilarious. He said something. He was like, "Yeah, I thought Boromir's death was better in the book," and someone went, "Oh, spoiler alert!" And I kind of like chuckled. I was like, "Ha, yeah, good one." And then they were like legitimately kind of annoyed. They were like, "Okay, from now on, we say spoiler alert before we say spoilers." I was like, You are in the fucking film and book society. You haven't seen or read Lord of the Rings? Literally get
and
out.
Even then, Sean Bean famously dies in everything.
I mean, I'm not saying these people were nerds necessarily.
I'm not saying these people were hermits who've never talked to a woman.
Again, we're doing a fucking podcast right now. I'm not saying anything, but I was like they were, spouting off a bunch of like trivia and knowledge, and like I was like, how the fuck do you know?
You sat there just swiping on all your babes. God, yeah, this is really not my crowd.
I really don't belong here. I knew Boromir died.
This is really not my crowd, guys. I'm going to go podcast.
Sorry, guys. This shit is lame as fuck. I'm going to go watch the Princess Diana movie alone. I'll be back. But anyway, Two Towers.
That last chuckle you did sounded sad.
That last chuckle was a repressed memory. No, yeah, good time. And then I rewatched Good Will Hunting and A Few Good Men, just two of my favorite films. Good Will Hunting, have you seen it? It's so fucking good.
I have not seen it.
It's I think it would be one of your favorite movies. I'm not even kidding. It's like so beautiful and just like it's so wonderful. It's like it's one of the most wholesome movies you'll ever watch. And A Few Good Men, Cruise, Nicholson. God, it's so good.
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth, you little bitch.
See, that's the scene everyone knows, but there's so much more to it. You're missing Cruise's hilarious baseball-based banter, or softball, whatever he plays. He's like, and there's one point where the woman lawyer is like, says something like, Cruise, you're such a fucking idiot, and Cruise goes, I'm really aroused right now. I'm like, Cruise, that's not okay to say to someone. What are you doing? I don't care if it's the early 90s. You can't do this. Anyway, yeah, very good movie. Very excellent.
Delightful. I want to watch both of them. I have not seen either, but I very much want to.
I would highly recommend.
This last thing here is it's not an L, but it's not an L, but it is a bit of a. It could have turned into more of a dub. I want to say. Not proud of this one, but basically, as social sec for the ultimate frisbee team, I have to
Stop
organize
right
socials.
there. It's an L. It's an L.
Stop right there. You've lost in life, please.
Stop right there and get off my podcast. I'll get someone from the film and book club.
I need someone who doesn't know what happened to Boromir on this podcast.
I'll blow their fucking minds.
Just gonna, I'll blow them.
Just walk into that weird social debate thing. Like, hey, anyone wants to come here who doesn't know how Boromir dies, I'll blow you. Just letting you know. They all trample me. The entire auditorium.
It's like the bulls of Pamplona. You're just completely crushed.
Jesus. Sorry, continue.
Sorry. Yes. So, as the amazing social secretary for the Ultimate Frisbee team, it's my job to kind of organize socials. And I will not lie to you. I forgot my job. And then so the week, I usually have to announce it like 7 days before kind of thing. Then 4 days before, I'm like, shit, I don't have a social. I need to fix that. So then I went lazy and I was like, okay guys, we're going to do a movie night, right? Movie night in PJs. Good time, right? First of all, a good time, but also nothing that required any effort for me to do. So I was like, brilliant. Put out a voting system, gave him a few options, and then the options came down to In Bruges.
Oh.
And Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, right?
Well,
I've already seen Puss in Boots.
Oh.
I've talked about this. No? We talked about Puss in Boots.
Yes, we did.
Yes. And In Bruges, it was a tied vote. And then, so in the classic frisbee style, we flipped a disc for it.
Okay, all right.
God, I felt all the love and joy in your life leave your body just then.
We flipped a disc for it. Gotcha.
And then, In Bruges won.
Ooh, let's go.
Right?
I have a feeling
Amazing.
this is not going to go the way I want it to, though.
Well, I was like, yes, In Bruges, let's go. And then it's supposed to be 10 of us there. 9 have showed up. We're about to put on In Bruges. Then the 10th guy shows up and he comes in and he goes, we seriously watching In Bruges? And then starts a whole shitstorm with everyone who didn't want to watch In Bruges. And then there was a mutiny. And then people were like, and then people who wanted to watch In Bruges, they're like, okay, fine, we'll just watch Puss in Boots. I was like, guys,
what the fuck? As the social secretary, you got to get in there. You gotta smack some people around.
It was on my computer and everything. I was like, okay, I'm gonna start it, and then everyone was like, no, don't. And then like in the start of the movie, they're like, nah, we watched Puss in Boots. It's like, God,
Damn. Wow.
I hate this club and sport.
Then you flipped a disc at all of them.
God, you don't deserve me, guys. That's what I told them. And then I told them to leave my house.
Damn.
But no, so I basically started watching In Bruges, and then it was stopped, and then I watched Puss in Boots again. Which again, great movie, one of the best animated movies I've ever seen. But
Very good.
I've seen it quite recently, and I really want to watch In Bruges.
Damn. That is a little bit of an L.
So bit of an L on the min review here, but
Damn.
yes,
Well,
I needed to get it off my chest.
It was a valiant effort. I am kind of surprised In Bruges made it that far. It's kind of a random.
Well, in fairness, I gave like options that I wanted to watch
Sure.
the majority of those movies.
You wanted to mini review.
I was like, I put Night at the Museum, Shaun of the Dead, which I haven't seen yet.
Oh, big shout.
Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I'm happy we did not end up watching there.
Sure.
Puss in Boots because it was requested, and then In Bruges, and one other one that I forget. Also, there's hella construction going on outside right now with like a jackhammer. So I apologize if you hear that in post.
That is, it's okay. I appreciate the heads up, so I don't come for your head at the.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely hear it, but my mic should be pointing this way, so who knows?
All right, it's all good. No worries. We acknowledged it, so it's fine, I guess.
Yeah, so it's not our fault.
Well, I'm happy to hear that In Bruges is at the very least on your short list, because I do think you would.
Well, I reckon I'll watch it sometime this week.
You would be a big
I very
fan.
much want to.
There is an anthropomorphic bear character at one point, though, so I'd be careful who you watch it with. There isn't.
Damn it.
You know what? We'll get him next time. L
We will.
Frisbee team, but also, by the way, not to expose you and not to expose myself with how I know this. You've told me, but I believe you sleep in the nude. So how did you show up in pajamas? You walk out butt ass naked.
Well, when I said pajama party,
You meant orgy. I see. Gotcha. Well,
no, I did just wear my pink onesie for the shits and giggles.
that's fair. I'll allow it. Well, I think, we're going to skip the news because there's nothing that exciting here and we can just get to The Last of Us. Before we do, though, by the way, I just remembered, should have put this, as an anecdote at the start, but you just reminded me of the Frisbee thing. I just thought you'd enjoy. First of all, I can no longer make fun of the Frisbee because I am a valiant member of the Dodgeball Society.
Yes!
And it is...
Let's go!
It's an excellent time. I'm not going to lie. It's very good. It is amazing. But I did have a bit of a stinky moment. Some could say a great moment, but also not an ideal moment where headshots are frowned upon. They still count, but you're kind of supposed to not go for it. And I don't want to say I'm one of the harder throwers in the dodgeball club. I'll leave that to the public to decide.
I would say I'm the hardest hitting a heavyweight.
But I threw it, and, I gave it a good one, and I hit this one guy square in the fucking face, and I felt very bad afterwards, and everyone's kind of like, ooh, and I was like, I'm sorry, man. He was like, it's all good. And I see him like on the sidelines, like his friend is like looking at his eye, and it looking kind of grim. I'm like, I'm sorry. Literally 5 minutes later, he comes back on. And I hit him in the fucking face again right after. No! Like immediately after. It was so unfortunate. And he was like, come on, man. What the fuck? I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So, I mean, on the one hand, dub
Honestly,
for my dodgeball skills. But on the other hand...
anyone who can't take a headshot in dodgeball is a bitch.
I mean, he was also... I mean, I'm not gonna lie. He was a big guy. I was like, this guy's gonna jump me when I go outside. Like, he's gonna fucking get me. He's gonna build a picture of me.
Gonna sleep with an eye open.
But yeah. Anyway, Dodgeball Society goes very hard. We're gonna...
Very cool. When do you play?
It's Wednesdays at... What do you mean? Are you gonna fucking show up or something?
I won't lie.
Oh.
If I planned a trip,
Ooh.
do you think I could join?
First of all, 100%.
I'll take anyone. It's a dying club.
We absolutely... Bro, yeah, they're trying to put together like a team for some kind of like national thing. I was like, I don't know, I'll think about it. There's one guy on the team who like really wants to, and he just came up to me and was like, you're doing it. I was like, I don't know. And then he goes up to the instructor, he's like, I got another guy recruited. And I was like, what the... No, you don't. I didn't fucking say yes. What do you mean? He's like,
Now, I really want that to happen, but if you travel and compete in dodgeball on a national level, I will never hear any Frisbee shit in my life again.
yeah, no, that's fair. That's very fair. But yeah, we do it on Wednesdays at 4. So if you're around on a Wednesday, we'll make it happen. I mean, we won't officially on the record because, you can't participate if you're not part of the school. A wink.
Yeah, truly, but I'm an exchange student.
Oh, let's go. Anyway, we're going to move on to our big topic for this week, which is in fact The Last of Us, starring sexy toe licker Pedro Pascal.
Sexy, yeah, and the actress who's the same age as DiCaprio's girlfriend.
That is, I did see that comparison. That was disturbing. Also, the Hopper 11 comparison from Stranger Things.
The Hopper 11.
Hopper, the David Harbour guy, and 11, the girl. They're the same age difference as well. We're going to talk The Last of Us here. We talked about it when it first premiered, and then we've gone dormant since, and a lot's happened. Spoilers alert.
A lot has happened.
Spoiler alert for The Last of Us. We had a bit of a journey across America. We had I was going to say Ron Perlman. That's not who it is. Ron Swanson? What's he called? The guy from
Ron Swanson.
Ron Swanson romance. We had a
beautiful episode.
Pedophilic cannibal. We had a bit of a giraffe petting. Just a lot of stuff going on. So let me get an overall take. By the way, remind me, have you played the first game?
I have played a bit of the first game.
Okay.
I don't think I've definitely watched a playthrough of the whole thing.
Sure.
Like, I forget who, maybe PewDiePie, but I've definitely watched a playthrough of the whole thing, and I've played some, if not all, of the first game.
Okay. Also, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm struggling to imagine 2013 PewDiePie playing this like deeply emotional story. Like, she like is about to get killed by the pedophile cannibal cult leader. It's like, oh my god,
he's
bros.
like,
and that's the episode for today, bros.
And I'll see you in the next one, bros.
Okay, because I have some friends who've played the game, and they either love the show for its like representation. Some of them are not fans of how like certain lines are delivered and how certain scenes play out and how they cut certain things. And one of them outright refuses to watch it, just I guess like out of a weird cult-like loyalty,
film friend kind of moment.
Film
I won't lie.
Behavior.
If it was done exactly as it's done, film boy behavior. So that sounds like the kind of thing. Do you know that BHL had that film boy behavior in him?
He was the king of the streets. And the fiend of the sheets.
Lacked a penis in the sheets. Oh.
Okay, all right. You had to hit me where it hurts. My lack of genitals.
As a young buck, he enjoyed Deadpool, but growing up, he outgrew that shit.
Thought that shit was mid. Stupid. I'm so sorry. The problem is we do all these things like completely ironically, but then the soundbite of us saying these things are out there. So you saying next stop Bus City on the swag train, that's out there. Someone could just clip that up and play it whenever they want. And now I have also said it. Like, I don't know. It's very unfortunate. Anyway, well, The Last of Us overall, I thought it was excellent. I was a very big fan of pretty much everything. I think I have like maybe a couple small complaints about the finale, perhaps.
Okay.
But otherwise, I thought it was very well paced. I mean, you can't give too much credit, I guess, for the story since it is like an adaptation. But in terms of executing that story for someone who's never played the game, but who has a vague idea of it. But it was like it stands alone perfectly as its own show. Excellent character dynamics, excellent performances, and just like the best thing about it, I think, was like the atmosphere where, yes, it is like, you know, zombie, but it's not really like they're barely any zombies in it.
Show.
Yeah,
it's
how the world's affected and
exactly
how like people would. It feels realistic because it's like how would people. You can kind of, you know, their zombies are there, but you can kind of replace it with any sort of apocalypse. And it's like, how would our society react? And you have different factions and government and all this. Very interesting.
Very, very interesting. I am the same. I really liked it overall. And going back to the thing where people like are not liking how some lines are delivered and stuff like that. If they did it shot for shot, like line for line, the way they do it in the video game, it's going to feel like just, you know, it's not going to feel like a proper show, I don't think.
Yeah,
like,
I feel like
the game is one of the most cinematic and like well acted and voice acted and stuff like that shows out there. It still doesn't translate fully to like the big screen or like I guess a small screen if you were to just do that shot by shot. So I think the way they've done it is that they include a lot of lines, basically everything that, you know, is good about the show, about the game, and then they put in the show. I think it works very nicely. And then changing a few things like the whole Bill and Frank Ron Swanson kind of thing. Thought it was beautiful. Thought it was so good. One of the most emotional episodes ever.
Yeah.
Whereas because in the game, Ron Swanson's character like journeys along with them, and it's not that much of a.
Ooh, you can
like,
play as Ron Swanson. Playable Swanson?
You sounded way too excited.
Yeah, I might have to buy a PlayStation or something.
You're telling me I can be Ron Swanson?
The one thing I've always wanted.
God, that sounds fucking dope.
But you thought that was a good change to the.
I did think that was a good change. Like I like him in the show, but I think this way they did it here was I thought that was maybe not my favorite, but definitely the most like heartfelt and emotional episode of the show, I think.
Yeah,
it's just a beautiful kind of, because you've got this kind of chaos throughout the series of how people's lives are turned upside down and how they have to compromise with everything and just and then it cuts to this where it's just like kind of like a little secluded, beautiful what is it, like close to 20 years of people falling in love. Like,
yeah,
goddamn.
And it obviously it includes the, again, kind of like the rest of the show, includes the zombie apocalypse element, but it is like, every part of it is like, it's there is a zombie apocalypse part of it, and that's what kicks off everything that happens. But it's very like human stories. And I like how they did, they have that story, and then they have the guy and his little brother who gets infected, and even the woman who's hunting the guy and his little brother, who like her family is, or her brother's killed or something like that. All these like and also especially I think like I was really loving it. I thought like this is a really good show. It's really well made and like engaging. I wasn't super emotionally affected until they started doing more of the Ellie stuff, where
exactly the Ellie stuff is very
the Ellie backstory.
The whole mall kind of sequence.
Yes, the mall is super harrowing, and like when Joel is like the episode where Joel is incapacitated, and then Ellie, she has her flashback episode, and then also her encounter with the pedophile cannibal and all that. Like that was the one time I did tear up in the show, is after she slices and dices the pedophile cannibal, and then like she
turns that boy into some sashimi.
And then she comes outside and like Joel hugs her and all that. I was like, that, because we just had the episode before where we get like her backstory, and she's excellent in it, and he's excellent as well. And that moment I was like, oof.
I will say the whole like talking about like the Sam and Henry, like as you said, like the little kind of side plots that they kind of encountered along the way, I thought worked really, really well. But I can't see. Like, I think that is probably the thing that would make it feel the most like a video game, because it does feel a little side questy, like meeting all these different people, and then the next episode they're gone again, Which I think it still works and is interesting, but if I took a different approach, I could see how that would feel very kind of like it would take away a little bit from the normal telling of a show or story.
I agree. Like there was a moment where I can't remember, towards the end, where they're like, we'll just go back to Tommy. And I was like, no fucking way you're going back to Tommy. Like, he's like, because they just kind of like encounter characters and just leave, and like no one really comes back. No, I agree. Like, in a way, I guess it could feel a bit episodic, but again, it didn't really affect my enjoyment of it. It was still just like very well paced, and it's this story that exactly how it's going to go. It's like, because there are a lot of examples now of like, the father kind of daughter, and they hate each other and they bond and whatever, and like exactly how it's going to go, but like you really believe it. And I mean, Pedro Pascal, who's such a as you've seen in any interview and a lot of his other performances, just a very nutty individual, like a very
nutty and delightful guy.
Delightful,
it's a very grounded performance.
Yeah, it just gets real grim with it. And I've seen a bit of a debate about if Joel is a bad person, which especially about the ending, which I guess we can talk about. Which I would say, yes. I mean, he's like meant to be
in the large scale, bad person.
Yeah, like in terms of what he does.
Small scale.
In terms of his heart, I think he's a good person. In terms of what he does, obviously he has like all the like torture and killing stuff that he does before he meets Ellie or whatever. And then at the end, so let's talk about the ending, because apparently it was kind of controversial. Which again, I don't really understand when like a story in this way is controversial, because it's like it's not like he's a real guy who did these things. Like, it's like a character. Like, people are like actually mad. Like, oh my god, Joel's despicable.
I can't believe Joel did that.
It's like
I'm gonna fucking cancel him.
Yeah, it's like he is in fact fictional. I'm not sure if you're aware, but in terms of like a story thing, I thought it was great. Like it just like it fit his character very well. And yeah, it is very dark, but it's it's not supposed to be like a happy ending, you know? It's like he lost his daughter once. He's like, to be fair, I think it's also interesting that it adds complexity where like there is a little bit of a hint of like he's kind of doing it for himself a little bit, where because she even mentions like Ellie would probably be willing to sacrifice herself to save the world, and
she was like when they have the conversation afterwards, like, you promise me that what you're saying is true and that we didn't make a difference at the lab and stuff.
Yeah,
like that, right?
And it's almost like he couldn't let her go for himself. Like, of course he loves her, but it was also almost like he can't go through that pain again, which again, you know, makes him maybe a little bit of a darker character. I think that's interesting. You want a character to have some.
It is very interesting,
depth.
only because it sets up. And again, people who've played the game, because I know what happens in the next one.
I do as well. Yeah,
you do.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, which we can talk about.
I hope.
Spoilers for The Last of Us 2 and possibly Season 2. If you don't want to know any of that stuff, you can skip ahead.
Yeah. So
Joel gets
his
beaten to death with a golf club, I want to say.
Yeah, he does.
So that's an unfortunate scene incoming.
Very unfortunate. And there's been rumors that the person who does that's already been cast. I really don't want them to do that, though.
Yeah. Well, look, okay, having never played The Last of Us 2, so I have no ground to stand on, but I watched a video essay about why The Last of Us 2 is brilliant. And for me, now I'm like, wow, what a beautiful story they're telling. But I can imagine, especially, like, I saw a tweet that was like, The Last of Us producers are going to be surprised when they kill Joel and half the viewers drop off. And it's kind of like, yeah, that is possible. Like, a lot of people are here for Pedro.
Yeah, like, I think he very much carries the show.
I would say the episodes without him in it, pretty much with Ellie, are just as good. But
I think so. But those are like more background and stuff like that. I think in terms of the main story, he's needed. I think he adds a. I don't know. He adds his presence. That's just very, very good. I think his background stuff, that's whatever. But and Ellie's background stuff is very, very, very interesting and very good in some of the best episodes. But I think in terms of the main storyline, which again, the main storyline is that he dies. But I think for the show, it maybe just injure him a little, incapacitate the boy.
Sure. I mean, to be fair though, from what I've researched about the following, game, I don't know how you can do that story without killing him. You have to just I'm not saying they couldn't, but you'd have to throw everything out there, because I know there's a whole thing about Abby, and then because all the video essay I watched was about how like thematically they're all linked in their like guilt and their need for revenge and how it all ties together, and that's why I was like, oh my god, this is so beautiful. Again, having never played it, which is kind of dumb, but if you don't kill Joel, you can't have that parallel theme of needing revenge and not being satisfied when you kill the person who you think you should kill and all this stuff. But I don't know. I do not want Pedro to die, I guess. But story-wise, does it need to happen?
Story-wise, it would probably be good. I just like him so much.
I don't want to see him get beat to death with a golf club. That's such a bitch way to die.
No, it is such a bitch way, and he's such a powerful guy. It would be so humiliating for him. It's not dignifying.
Just get beat up by a golf club. God. Just playing some Topgolf or something. It's not even an apocalyptic scene. He's just doing some Topgolf, and then someone comes up behind him and
he's
whacks
at the driving range just having a good time. He's in his khakis.
He's on a mini golf course.
But no, overall, yeah, I'm very excited for season 2. I think it'll be so good. And I mean, what else is there to touch on? Let's see.
I think we haven't even talked about like zombie stuff, which again shows how great the characters and all that stuff. Can I just say, I think the pedophile cannibal was a way more horrifying villain than
any of the
zombies. Yeah, because he was just he was so well performed disgusting. As like this terrifyingly weird. Because you already know you're like something. You
already know that this guy's fucked. A freak, but he starts off being there's something off.
Like maybe he's just a cult leader or something. Like whatever.
Exactly. He kind of gave me what's the word I'm looking for? Oh yeah, I don't know if you've seen have you seen The Walking Dead?
No.
Well, he reminds me very much of the governor in The Walking Dead. Guy who's kind of like got this like friendly face, the leader. He's like, I didn't want to be leader, but I was appointed leader. You know, they needed a leader, so I took the role. Kind of like trying to be a man of the people, but he's definitely got some skeletons in his closet. And then it reveals he's got like a bunch of heads in a fish tank. You know?
Is that the new metaphor for skeletons in your closet? You got some heads in your fish tank, bro. I don't know, I'm getting a weird vibe off of you.
Getting a very weird vibe.
You got some
of you.
people you're eating on a rack somewhere. I don't know. I'm speaking metaphorically, of course. Yeah, no, I think. But even when he was like just talking to Ellie at the start, I was like, this guy's fucked. Something's weird about this. I don't like his vibes at all.
Yeah, he was. This guy. I am not liking your. I'm not digging your vibe right now, sir.
But yeah, no, and I mean like. But on the zombies, yeah, I mean, all the effects were great, and they were, you know, sufficiently scary, and, you know, with other... And I thought, like, the way it's differentiated, we talked about it a bit when we talked about the premiere, but, like, the way the fungus works and all that stuff. By the way, weird, I hate to say it, weirdly kind of satisfying, those parts where they, like, cut someone's skin open and it's just, like, fungus underneath. I'm like, ooh, kind of liking the look of that.
You like the look of that?
I don't know, wasn't it kind of satisfying? You cut the skin like it's just like fungus
This
stuff, and it's
gooey
like
little freak. What in the world?
I think I've watched too many like ASMR like cutting like I don't know sand or whatever videos, but like there was something.
I thought you were gonna say something terrible, like cutting people's limbs off and stuff. Very ASMR.
I think I watched too many ball busting with stilettos compilations. I don't know.
Yeah. Where who was it we said would wear those?
Daniel Day no Pedro. Daniel Day Pedro.
Daniel Day Pedro.
Anyway, I thought I was going to be backed up on this fungus thing, so I'm just going to act like it didn't happen. But I did think.
Okay. I will say. Are you wait? So when you.
I just mean the one specific shot where someone cuts someone's like arm a little bit, and there's like
with the scalpel, and then it just kind of like splits open.
Yes,
and there's a bit of
that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, I see what you mean. I thought you meant like whenever Ellie would roll up her sleeve, and you just saw all the like the gross fungus shit.
No.
It's like you weirdo.
The one
Why
part
would
with
you
the
like
scalpel
this?
where they cut it and it's like fungus underneath. That was a little bit. I don't know. I kind of enjoyed.
Okay,
but
I kind of want cordyceps now.
But besides that, I thought all the fungus stuff was good and sufficiently, you know, like gross, and when they're like infecting someone with the mouth shit.
Yeah, the mouth shit. I personally found that very satisfying. I would
thought that was actually really erotic, personally.
I think that would be a great makeout, personally.
What did you think of the one that I think
the bloater?
I was gonna say I think they modeled one after your mother.
Joel does look like my mother, but please, the bloater,
right?
After your father.
Fuck. Got me so good.
Shit.
The bloater.
Fuck it.
Also, that is your new nickname.
Also, consider your snap name changed
from what it currently is, which is Fletcher Mundo.
And yours is Raymondo.
Ah, beautiful.
God, we're so good we're so good for each other.
Oh god, this is a really healthy relationship, actually. Anyway, the bloater. I enjoyed the bloater.
Very cool.
I thought, I don't know, like, of course it needs some zombie action scene, but it's funny because when I think about the show, like, that big zombie action scene, obviously it was great, but, like, it doesn't really stand out to me. I was like, yeah, that was a good action scene, but, like, it's, like, not as interesting as all the other shit going on, I guess, like, just, like, character-wise.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was good, it was good.
But yeah.
And he was
good.
a big old boy.
He was a big old boy. I will say, I think the most disgusting, like, zombie one was the little girl in the car who just kind of did flips and stuff.
Yes, yeah.
Like, running after Ellie. I was like,
honestly,
stop
like,
it.
I guess this isn't, like, a unique phenomenon, but, like, a fast zombie is way scarier than, like, a big, slow one. Like, when they're chasing you down, they're, like, galloping at you, whatever the fuck. I'm like, God, get away from me.
Galloping?
I did also think, I mean, yeah, they're just...
The zombie horse?
There are so many... Like, by the way, so animals can't get infected? What's the deal? No giraffe zombies? God, wouldn't that be an action scene? Joel fights a giraffe zombie. I should have written The Last of Us.
Joel gets beat to death by a giraffe zombie with a golf club in its mouth.
For some reason, I'm picturing someone picking up the giraffe and smacking him with it.
I couldn't tell you.
Can I just say, imagine the bloater picking a giraffe up by the neck and just swinging it around. That'd be sick.
That would be
That's
very
how the show ends.
It's this beautiful moment. I got you, baby girl. I got you. You hear a roar from behind.
CGI
Joel
monster.
turns around. It's this giant monster with a giraffe on its back.
End of the whole show. It was a limited series. They made one change from the game, and that was it. You just hear the scream of the bloater. Just smack. Cut to black. The end.
You don't actually see the bloater. You just see the shadow of the giraffe flying through the air.
It's so confusing. Everyone's like, what? It's them,
What the fuck?
It's them hugging. You see the shadow of a giraffe coming in on them, and then it just cuts to black.
The Last of Us will not return.
Oh man. Well, I think we've written The Last of Us 3 there with one scene. God.
So how does Ellie die in The Last of Us? Well,
You remember that giraffe from earlier?
remember that giraffe that she loved? Well, in the words of James Wonder, she got squished.
I will say the last thing I was gonna say is oh god, somebody better be fucking dying. Sorry.
There better be a giraffe on the loose.
It's actually funny they turned off the siren as they drove past my place. Maybe they heard me. I was gonna say
Coming up to arrest you.
there were just some very heartbreaking moments, especially I think the worst one was when Henry the kid?
I could not tell you.
Well, when the kid gets bitten and then, goes,
yeah.
goblin mode.
The most emotional moment for me was when the little boy got bit and sadly died and went full on gremlin mode.
Joel's like, wait, hold on. He's gone full goblin mode.
Sam, do not shoot him. He's gone goblin mode. Let him calm down. Get him a giraffe.
Anyway, overall, The Last of Us Season 1, I thought was fantastic. I'm very excited for Last of Us Season 2. Great performances all around. We didn't even mention Bella Ramsey, really, but amazing in it.
She's great.
She's amazing.
Yep.
Everyone's real good. Good stuff all in all. By the way, our last question
agree.
I would ask. Would you, in Joel's scenario at the end there, save the world or save your daughter, kind of?
Ooh.
Also, that last killing spree. I mean, I know it's very dark, but fucking what a cool scene. I mean, I know it's like...
That was such a cool scene.
When Joel's
I was like,
going through
damn,
everyone.
Joel went goblin mode.
That's what it says in the script. This emotional climax, and then Joel goes goblin
Joel
mode.
saves Ellie, taking her off the removing the things from her arm, taking her off the monitor, and then he goes goblin mode.
Pedro smiles reading the script. It's the moment he's been waiting for the whole time.
Now that's something I know how to do.
I won't have to act for this part.
Goblin mode is a state of mind.
Anyway, would you?
I would probably save the giraffe if I'm being honest.
Okay, good point.
I don't know. I think it. I probably would be like everyone's kind of gotten used to, because okay, let's be realistic. Whilst this is a very pessimistic view to have, let's say they do get the vaccine going and everything like that.
Sure,
everything's
fucked.
Everything's fucked, and it's to make people immune. But as a lot of people say, the main way people die from the zombies is not because they get bit; it's because they get fucking devoured.
It's because they get hit by a fucking giraffe.
It's because they get squished by a giraffe by a bloater.
There ain't no vaccine for that.
Honestly, you're gone.
That's actually a really good point. I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, all the zombies are still out there.
Yeah, because you're not gonna go vaccinate the zombies, are you? So I would probably say save my baby girl.
That's a very good point. Also, now that I think about it, society's collapsed. If everyone gets the vaccine, again, everyone already hates each other. There's this weird secret police and the Fireflies, whenever it's
everything's let's say you make the vaccine, chances are that you're not going to make it to the next QC because you'll just die.
Yeah, no, you know what? Good point. We save Ellie. Well, great stuff in The Last of Us. We're now going to move on to
the Cnews.
So we actually have a special, not special, but special Tom Cnews in the sense that someone sent this to us. Baxter White on...
Tom Cruise himself.
Emailed in all his deepest secrets and fears. Number one, human beings?
Number one, feeling any emotion at all.
Baxter White tweeted us this article from The Hollywood Reporter. Tom Cruise has seen The Flash, ... and he loved it. Exclusive. So, a conversation with Warner Bros. Discovery CEO led to a private screening for Cruise at his Beverly Hills home. God damn. I wish I was a fucking celeb. This sounds sick. Anyway, Cruise has seen the movie.
I wish I was a celeb.
And loved it so much that he cold called the movie's director Andy Muschietti to rave about it. So apparently Cruise is a very big fan. Also, just unfortunate, this article does refer to him as superstar and cinema saver Tom Cruise. Oh, horrible.
It's not the fact that he saves cinema, it's because he always gets the cheapest tickets.
But I think that's a... I can't believe I'm saying this because I thought it was going to be so stinky. But based on the trailer looks kind of fun, and that Tom Cruise and James Gunn...
It's got the Cruise endorsement.
Both said it was really good. I'm getting a feeling this could be like a surprise banger because... Like, James Gunn and Tom Cruise don't really strike me as the kind of people who would say that if they didn't believe it. And they didn't just say, like, oh, you know, my friend worked on this. It's good. You should go check it out. Like, they were like, I loved it. This is really fantastic. And they...
Yeah, I mean, James Gunn maybe because he's spearheading the whole thing now. But Tom Cruise, I can't see him saying it.
Yeah, and Tom Cruise, I don't know if he likes superhero movies. I don't know what the verdict on that is. Like, he isn't in any of them. So, like, it's not like... It's like kind of his typical thing. So I'm getting the feeling this could be just like a blockbuster fun kind of vibe. So I don't know.
When is it comes out?
July, I want to say June. Again, I mean, this is, I don't know, like he didn't say this publicly. This is like a Hollywood Reporter thing, so who knows really, but I'm inclined to believe him. We are forgetting that it does star Ezra Miller though, which like I like how that's just like fine now, despite, you know,
it's a recipe for disaster.
All the crimes. But like, is he going to be on the red carpet? Like, is he going to do interviews?
I don't know.
My first thing I would ask him is, hey, how are you here and not in a cell, Ezra?
Ezra, please do not throw that piece of furniture at me.
But anyway, you know, I guess we'll see. But I guess that's Hollywood, baby. We're now going to move on to the announcements and such, where we're going to go to some comments real quick on the latest pod. Curious to see what people thought. I really hate when I search for Poorly Planned Podcast, I have to write POO, and all the suggestions are, you know, obviously poo related. It's just kind of insulting to my, you know, life's work.
To the brand. They're going to say, I hate when I search for the Poorly Planned, I search PO, and it just takes me to my favorite site.
Al Feld says, here's a suggestion, video game characters you can beat up. That's a good vibe, actually. That might have to happen, especially with the upcoming...
Put Joel on that list.
Get that golf club out. Especially with the upcoming Mario movie. That could be a shout, you know. Movie Boy says, when I saw Creed 3, I went for the first time by myself, so I had a BHL moment. Could we please not make this a BHL moment? I feel like that's not a...
I think it's very, very accurate, though.
God.
I went to the cinema alone. Oh, you had a BHL moment.
Josie says, this is a Princess Diana biopic moment. And ZJ says, I had a Spencer-esque experience. See, I appreciate we call it that instead. Josie says, I had one of the worst experiences for theaters for 3 as well. I'm so glad I'm not the only one. Yeah, can I just say, I think I figured this out because Creed 3 is like just marketable enough that a bunch of dumbasses will go see it. Like, boxing, this will be fun. But then it's like thoughtful and quiet for a lot of it. And they don't like that. So they're stupid. Dumb brains can't handle it, and
I don't like them meatheads that go watch Creed.
They're not Kino enough. Movie Boy says, I had kids shouting in the back of the theater. Josie says, were they shouting, yo? Movie Boy says, unfortunately not. And Jaden says, one of the worst experiences I had was seeing Wakanda Forever. There were these kids laughing on their phones through the whole T'Challa death and funeral scene, and also spoilers, during the mom's death scene. It took away all the emotion of those scenes. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing also where... in 3 as well, like through, you know, the mom death scene, which again, we laughed about later, but that was...
We did ridicule.
But that was not in the moment. That was a poorly planned moment. And also during, like, I don't know, just during any serious scene, you know, as you do when you're like 14, you're like, this is a quiet moment. This will be a good time to do a big meme. I do remember one of my favorite, I mean, I was so dumb that I couldn't even get mad. One of my favorite moments in a cinema was when I saw Avengers Endgame, and when he said Avengers Assemble, a kid next to me dabbed. Still one of my favorite things that's ever happened.
That's so good.
Avengers Assemble. It made the moment way better, I'm not gonna lie. ZJ says, great way to spend my day off from school. Had me wailing from laughter, and I heard Stallone's pitch was for him fucking himself in a gimp suit for 2 hours. I would watch that Rocky movie. That sounds really good.
So
Also,
good.
I'm sorry, but you saying it had me wailing from laughter just makes me think of the film The Whale, which now always makes me laugh because just that poster is so bad. It's just,
Have you seen the one where it's like every single poster from it is just that
Yes.
same clip or same shot?
I also saw there was this
The movie, and people are like, the movie is just a 2-hour still frame of this.
Josie says, I'm doing a little better than before, but still going through some stuff, but I appreciate you guys in this hilarious pod. Put me in a good mood. Well, we're happy to hear that. Hope things keep getting better, and yeah, glad you enjoyed.
Yeah.
Daniel at the movie says, another really great and enjoyable episode. Keep up the truly Little Duke-esque work. Thank you, Daniel.
Why is he insulting us?
What a great combination of reviews, talking about one Oscar-worthy film and then Creed 3. I see what you did there. I agree. And I haven't seen Cocaine Bear yet, but I really like Creed 3. I do agree on most of your points about the film, so it won't be another Ghostbuster situation. The segment about Creed's mom was so dark, but yet so funny at the same time. P.S. Hashtag Stallone gimp suit. Yo. And another P.S. Since you've talked about Creed 3, what is your favorite boxing match of all time? And since Freddy doesn't really watch boxing, what is your favorite anime of all time? Bear. And just one more thing, Jake Paul didn't actually go to the hospital after Ryan Garcia gave him a nasty body shot. It was a classic Jake Paul prank. Just had to clear that up.
I know, I hate
You have
those.
been pranked good in the classical fashion. Favorite anime? Put you on the spot there.
Anime. Gonna have to go Death Note on this one.
Ooh, big shout, big shout, big shout.
Big shout.
God,
Favorite boxing match?
I don't know
I
if
can
I-
say a favorite boxing match. I'm cultured in the,
All right.
in the fight of the... I'll go... Chunks versus the guy he knocked out with one punch.
Okay, first of all, it was swarms, not chunks.
Oh,
Chunks. I was like, chunks boxing. I'll go Young Philly versus Deginal.
these are just ones you want to happen.
That would be sick.
Mine is PewDiePie versus the whale.
God, I don't know. I can think of a lot of favorite UFC fights. Favorite boxing match.
I'm gonna say Tyson Fury versus Wilder 2, where he
Ooh.
knocks him out.
Interesting. I might actually go Fury Wilder 1 just off the top of my head. I know a bit of a casual answer. I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
but
God.
I don't know. It was
Embarrassing.
It was a great fight, and there was the two knockdowns at the end. There was one recently. Actually, there was one Lee Wood versus Michael Conlon that happened last year that was very good. It was kind of like a Rocky movie. Check it out if you are into boxing. Cal W says, when I clicked on the video and saw Cocaine Bear, I immediately knew that Freddy would hate the two child actors. Yep, that is an accurate
I didn't
assumption.
hate the girl. I hated her decision making. Henry, I despised.
Yogi El Oso says Bear, which is, appropriate given the Yogi title. And Josie responds with Yo. So some good discourse going on in the comments here. We've really...
Great banter between the fans here.
AJ Murray says, who would win in a fight, Cocaine Bear or Lil Duke? I mean, not even in a meme way, in a realistic way, Lil Duke never wins. So...
I thought you were saying in a meme way and realistic way, Lil Duke all the way.
Jaden says, Freddie, can you please try to recruit Little Duke to be your volleyball and frisbee coach? It might be the final push your team needs to go all the way. Also, we all know...
Go all the way into, what?
Depression.
Just dissolving the club.
Also, we all know BHL would get himself as a female just so he can make nose jokes towards someone else for a change. Hashtag Lil Duke dub. Hashtag bear. Very true. I think I need to meet a woman with a nose just as large as mine to be beautiful nose lovers. Anyway.
So that was awful.
So that was the worst thing that's ever happened on this pod, which is saying a lot, given we talked about gimp suits a lot.
Not as often as I would like to.
If we could do a gimp suit episode, that'd be actually really good.
Top 10 gimp suits.
It's just your collection.
I do
It's
a
a
catwalk. Guys, today we have a haul for you, and then
Just stick the ball gag in. Anyway, we are now done with the show.
I'm not a ball gag man, sir.
Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, drop a like, subscribe, hit the bell button, leave a comment down below what you thought of what we talked about and what you thought about The Last of Us and all that good stuff. And what you thought about this episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well, the Poorly Planned Podcast. Leave a nice review, a 5-star rating. Tell your friends about the pod. You can find me on YouTube, BHL Hudson, Instagram, Twitter, BHL_Hudson. You can email the pod at bhlhudsonvids@gmail.com. I'm also on on Letterboxd at RealBHLHudson and TikTok at BHLHudson. All the links are down below.
You can find me on Twitter at FTK_DoltSniper. You can find me on Instagram at... Sorry.
Freddie hit the whoa there, just in case anyone was wondering.
Freddie hit the whoa there.
You can also find me on Instagram at Fidelgard. You can find me on Letterboxd at FTK_Thwilms and on YouTube at FTK Space Gaming.
Thank you very much for listening, and we will see you next time.
Giraffe.